Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from group 1 and today we are going to explain about teaching listening. Next. For the members, there are Alif Nur Fares, Dio Diola Kitaka, Muhammad Dafa, Nurhani Amanda, and Raisa Sofia Hasana. And the first material will be explained by Raisa. Raisa, the floor is yours.
Three people are on a train in England. As they approach what appears to be Wembley Station, one of the travelers says, "Is this Wembley?" "No," replies a second passenger. "It's Thursday," whereupon the third person remarks, "Oh, I'm too, let's have a drink." So, this is an illustration of the importance of listening. Jadi, pasti kita tidak ada yang ingin kejadian tersebut menimpa kita karena kurangnya our speaking ability. We do more listening than speaking. Why I say so? For example, right now you are listening to us explain the material without speaking. It also happens in the classroom. The teacher explains about the material and the student listen to what the teacher says. Next. Integrating the four skill. Integrating is combine the components. So, dalam kasus ini komponennya adalah the four skill of language, yaitu listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We often find this in classroom. The teacher gives the pre-reading discussion of a topic to active schemata, followed by either a reading or a writing task. Jadi di sini reading and writing skill siswa akan digunakan, and then the listening to a spoken lecture or monologue, accompanied by a note-taking and followed by a discussion. Di sini listening, writing, and speaking siswanya digunakan. Skill listening digunakan saat mendengarkan penjelasan dari guru, note-taking digunakan saat skill writing siswa, dan discussion menggunakan speaking skill siswa. Advantage of integrating two or more skill. Jadi ada advantage dari menggunakan dua atau lebih skill, yaitu yang pertama, mendengarkan. Production and reception are two sides of the same time. Production and reception are two sides of the same coin. Jadi tidak dapat dipisahkan, misalnya listening dan speaking, ada production dan reception. Jadi itu tidak bisa dipisahkan. And the second one is interaction involves sending and receiving messages. Jadi interaction di sini ada sending and receiving message. Dari saat kita berbicara, kita akan menerima message, sedangkan yang berbicara akan mengirimkan message ke kita. And then by attending primarily to what learners can do with language, we invite any or all of the four skills that are relevant into the classroom arena. Number 4 is one skill will often reinforce another. And the last one is most of our natural language performance entails connection between language and the way we think and feel and act. Next. Myth and pedagogical objective. Listening is a passive skill. Jadi sebenarnya mendengarkan itu sama sekali bukan skill yang pasif, tapi sebaliknya sangat aktif. Jadi selama mendengarkan, siswa banyak melakukan kegiatan. Mereka bisa menebak, memprediksi, menyimpulkan, mengkritik, dan atas semua itu mereka bisa menafsirkan ini apa yang sedang dibicarakan. Kemudian ada listening and is a one-way process. Jadi listening itu bukan one-way process. Bukan sekadar kita menerima suara, tapi banyak langkah-langkah yang terjadi. Misalnya kita menerima gelombang suara, kemudian melalui telinga, kemudian menyalurkan impuls ke saraf otak, kemudian otak bekerja sesuai impuls yang diterima. Kemudian ada listening is an individual and listening skills are acquired subconsciously. Students just absorb them. Myth and pedagogical objectives. The first one is listening is a passive skill. Jadi sebenarnya listening ini bukan skill yang pasif, melainkan sangat aktif. Jadi selama mendengarkan, siswa dapat melakukan banyak kegiatan. Misalnya mereka bisa menebak, bisa memprediksi, bisa menyimpulkan, bisa mengkritik. Mereka bisa menafsirkan apa yang diucapkan oleh orang tersebut. Number 2 is listening is a one-way process. Jadi sebenarnya listening juga bukan merupakan skill yang satu arah. Kita tidak hanya menerima suara, tapi kita juga bisa memahami apa yang dimaksud dari si pembicara. Number 3 is listening is an individual process. Number 4 is listening skill are acquired subconsciously. Students just absorb them. Number 5, listening equals comprehension. And the last one is listening and speaking should be taught separately. Mungkin listening dan speaking bisa diajarkan secara terpisah, namun kembali lagi ke advantage of integrating two or more skill, production and reception are two sides of the same coin. Jadi mungkin akan lebih bagus kalau listening dan speaking diajarkan secara bersamaan. Next. Listening comprehension process. Jadi yang pertama ada decoding auditory sound. Jadi pendengar memproses apa yang kita sebut yaitu raw ucapan mentah. Itu otak akan memproses apakah ini akan disimpan ke dalam long term memory atau short term memory. And number 2 is determining the function of the speech event. Jadi pendengar ini menentukan apakah seseorang ini lagi melakukan percakapan biasa atau sedang berpidato atau sedang mendengarkan siaran radio. Kemudian ada activating schema, yaitu pendengar mengingat informasi latar belakang. Apakah yang didengar ini sebelumnya sudah pernah dijelaskan oleh gurunya materinya atau belum, itu. Kemudian number 4 is assigning literal meanings. Jadi pendengar ini memberikan makna literal atau makna secara harfiah yang diucapkan seseorang. Jadi sebagai contoh tadi di dalam buku ada percakapan do you have time saat siswanya bercakap dengan gurunya, kemudian guru akan menjawab no, I don't have time. Maka di situ artinya adalah apakah si guru ini mempunyai waktu. Number 4 is assigning literal meaning. Jadi ini pendengar itu akan memproses makna secara harfiahnya. Misalnya ada percakapan, seorang siswa bertanya kepada guru, do you have time? Maka si guru akan menjawab no or yes. Sedangkan saat kita berbicara dengan seorang stranger bertanya kepada kita, do you have time? Maka kita akan menjawab waktu saat itu, gitu. Jadi akan berbeda maknanya do you have time saat kita berbicara dengan seorang second language learners dan native speakers. Next. Assigning intended meaning. Nah, kemudian saat kita berbicara dengan siswa tadi, maka kita akan memproses apa makna sebenarnya. Apakah maksud dari siswa ini time yang jam dalam bentuk jam itu atau waktu yang kita miliki, begitu. Kemudian nomor 6, determining the demand of short or long-term memory. Jadi kembali lagi pendengar akan menentukan apakah informasi ini harus disimpan ke memori jangka pendek atau memori jangka panjang. Misalnya memori jangka pendek, ada percakapan, hello, how are you? I'm good. Dah, sampai di situ saja cukup. Tidak akan disimpan ke dalam long term memory. Sedangkan saat kita mendengarkan penjelasan dari dosen atau kita mendengarkan sebuah materi, maka kita akan otomatis otak akan menyimpan itu ke dalam long term memory. And the last one is retaining essential information or meaning. Jadi pendengar itu akan menghapus bentuk asli kalimatnya bagaimana dan akan menyimpan informasi itu ke dalam bentuk yang secara konseptual. Jadi secara simpelnya prosesnya adalah receiving, understanding, evaluating, and responding. That's all from me. The next material will be explained by Muhammad Dafa.
All right, thank you, Raisa. Next, types of spoken language. So there are two types of spoken language. They are monologues and dialogues. In monologues, when one speaker uses spoken language for any length of time, as in speech, lectures, readings, new broadcasts, and the like, the hearer must process a long stretch of speech without interruption. The stream of speech will go on whether or not the hearer comprehends. Jadi di monolog, pendengar tidak bisa interrupt, so the reader akan terus speech, apakah itu dimengerti atau tidak dari pendengar. Then dialogues. Dialogues involve two or more speakers and can be subdivided into those exchange that promote social relationships and those for which the purpose is to convey proportional or factual information. And in each case, participants may have a good deal of shared knowledge. Therefore, the familiarity of the interlocutors will produce conversations with more assumptions, implications, and other meaning hidden between the lines. In conversation between or among participants who are unfamiliar with each other, reference and meaning have to be made more explicit to assure effective comprehension. Jadi dalam dialogues, jika dua orang yang sedang berkomunikasi, yang sama-sama mempunyai have some background knowledge, mungkin akan lebih mudah untuk share their knowledge dan mungkin akan lebih mudah dimengerti. Meanwhile, between participants who are unfamiliar, yang mungkin tidak terlalu kenal, mungkin akan lebih sulit dalam memahami pembahasan masing-masing. And then next slide. What makes listening difficult? So there are 8 factors such as clustering. Due to memory limitations, we need to break down speech into smaller group of words. Fungsinya agar siswa dapat lebih mudah apa yang kita sampaikan. In teaching listening comprehension, therefore, we need to help students to pick out manageable clusters of words. And second, redundancy. Notice the repressings, repetitions, elaborations, and little insertions of I mean, or you know. The redundancy help the hearer to process meaning by offering more time and extra information. Learners can train themselves to profit from such redundancy by first becoming aware that not very new sentence or phrase will necessarily contain new information and by looking for the signals of redundancy. The third is reduced form. So in spoken language that indeed contain a good deal of redundancy, it also has many reduced forms and sentence fragments. The reduction can be phonological, morphological, synthetic, or pragmatic. These reductions pose significant difficulties, especially for classroom learners who may have initially been exposed to the full forms of the English language. And the fourth is performance variables. Learners have to train themselves to listen for meaning in the midst of distracting performance. Native listeners are conditioned from very young age to without such performance variable, whereas they can easily interfere with comprehension in second language learner. Untuk native listeners, mungkin performance variable tidak terlalu mengganggu mereka, sedangkan for the second language learners, itu bisa saja sangat make them kesulitan dalam memahami. Next. 5 is colloquial language. Colloquial language is same like daily conversation. Language learners who have been exposed to standard written English and textbook language sometimes find it surprising and difficult to deal with colloquial language. Jadi language learners yang mungkin terbiasa belajar dari textbook mungkin akan sedikit kesulitan ketika mereka menghadapi real life or real context, seperti adanya idiom, slang, reduced form, and different cultural background knowledge from other people. And then 6 is rate of delivery. Actually, as Jack Richards 1983 points out, the number and length of pause used by a speaker is more crucial to comprehension than sheer speed. Learner will nevertheless eventually need to be able to comprehend language delivered at varying rates of speed and at times deliver with few pauses. Unlike reading, where a person can stop and go back to read, in listening, the hearer may not always have the opportunity to stop the speaker. Jadi, rate of delivery ini membahas tentang kecepatan ketika berbicara, dan mungkin bagi the learners akan sulit menangkap ketika mendengarkan orang yang terlalu cepat dalam berbicara. Kemudian 7 is stress, rhythm, and intonation. Because English is a stress time language, English speech can be a terror for some learners, as mouthful of syllabus comes spilling out between stress points. Intonation patterns are very significant, not just for interpreting straightforward elements such as question, statements, and emphasis, but for understanding more subtle message like sarcasm, endearment, insult, solicitation, or praise. Jadi some learners have difficulties ketika mereka mendengar kata-kata yang have stress, rhythm, or different intonation. Kemudian the last is interaction. Interaction play a large role in listening comprehension. Conversation is especially subject to all the rules of interaction, negotiation, clarification, attending signals, turn taking, and topic nomination, maintenance, and termination. So, to learn to listen is also to learn to respond and to continue a chain of listening and responding. They know how to negotiate meaning. For example, to give feedback, to ask for clarification, to maintain a topic, so that the process of comprehending can be complete rather than being aborted by insufficient interaction. Jadi interaction adalah hal yang sangat penting agar kita mungkin dapat saling memahami, seperti apa yang saya jelaskan di atas tentang dialog. Maybe that's all from me. Thanks for your attention. The next material will be explained by Nurhani Amanda.
Right, thank you. So the next material we talking about micro skills and macro skills of listening comprehension. So there are some points about micro skills. The first one is retain chunks of language of different lengths and short-term memory, and then discriminate among the distinctive sounds of English. And number 3, recognize English stress patterns and reduce from forms of words. And then distinguish words boundaries, recognize the core of words, uninterpreted word, order patterns, and their significance. And then process speech at different rates of delivery. Number 7, process speech containing pauses, errors, corrections, and other performance variables. and then recognize grammatical word classes like nouns, verbs, and then the systems such as tense, agreement, pluralization, then the patterns, rules, and elliptical forms. Detect sentence constituents and distinguish between major and minor constituents. And then the last is recognize that a particular meaning may be expressed in different grammatical forms. Next. Right, so there are also some points about macro skills. Number one is recognize cohesive devices in spoken discourse and the communicative functions of utterances. And then in fair situation, participants and goals using real-world knowledge. And then interlinks and connections between events, deduce causes and effects, and detect such relations as main ideas, supporting idea, new information, etc. And then distinguish between literal and implied meanings, and use facial kinesthetic, body language, and other non-verbal cues to decipher meanings. And the last is develop and use a battery of listening strategies. Right, next. Right, so we're talking about types of classroom listening performance. So there are 6 types. The first one is reactive. Sometimes we want a learner simply to listen to the surface structure of an utterance for the sole purpose of repeating it back to us. While this kind of listening performance requires little meaningful processing. So the activities that we can do as a teacher are about the only role that reactive listening can play in an interactive classroom is in the choral and individual drills that focus on pronunciation. And number 2 is intensive techniques whose only purpose is to focus on components such as phonemes, words, etc. Of this course may be considered to be intensive in the requirement that students single out certain elements of spoken language. Examples of intensive listening performance including the following, like the first one, students listen for cues in certain choral and individual drills, and then the teacher repeats a word or sentence several times to imprint it in the student's mind. And then the teacher asks students to listen to a sentence or like a longer stretch of discourse and to notice a specified elements such as intonation, stress, and etc. Next. Right, number 3 is responsive. A significant proportion of classroom listening activity consists of short stretches of teacher language designed to elicit immediate responses. The student's task in such listening is to process the teacher talk immediately and to fashion an appropriate reply. As a teacher, the activities that we can do are like asking questions like, how are you? And we get the direct answer, and then we give them comments like seek clarification and check their comprehension orally. Number 4 is selective. In longer stretches of discourse, such as monologues of a couple of minutes or considerably longer, the task of the student is not to process everything that was said, but rather to scan the material selectively for certain information. Selective listening differs from intensive listening in that the discourse is in relatively long length. Example of such discourse include speeches, media broadcasts, stories, and anecdotes, conversations in which learners are eavesdroppers. So what is eavesdroppers? Eavesdroppers itu menguping, jadi nantinya tuh kita bisa menyuruh murid untuk mendengarkan like conversation, and after that we could ask them to listen for like the people's names in the conversation and then the dates and like certain things in the conversations. Next. Right. Number 5 is extensive. For students in classroom, extensive performance typically involves listening to lectures and other impromptu teacher monologues, commonly referred to as academic listening. Such listening may require the learner to invoke other interactive for full comprehension. However, sometimes conversations involve attending to long story explanation or description, requiring the hearer to derive a comprehensive meaning of lectures. And then the last is interactive. Finally, there is listening performance that can include all 5 of the above types as learners actively participate in discussions, debates, conversations, role plays, and other pair and group work. Their listening performance must be intricately integrated with speaking skills in the authentic give and take of communicative interchange. Next. So there are some principles for teaching listening skills. So the first one is include a focus on listening in an integrated skills course. Assuming that our curriculum is dedicated to the integration of all 4 skills, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, remember that each of the separate skills deserves special focus in appropriate doses. It is easy to adopt a philosophy of just letting students experience language without careful attention to component skills, because oral comprehension itself cannot be overtly observed. Teachers sometimes incorrectly assume that the input provided in the classroom will be converted into learners' long-term competence. And then the second is use techniques that are stimulating and motivating. Appeal to listeners' personal interests and goals, because background information, or we can say schemata, is an important factor in listening. Take into full account the experiences, goals, and abilities of our students, as we design lessons. Also remember that the cultural backgrounds of our students can be both facilitating and interfering in the process of listening. Then once a technique is launched, try to construct it in such a way that students are caught up in the activity and feel self-propelled toward its final objective. And then the third is utilize authentic language and context. Authentic language and real-world tasks enable students to see the relevance of classroom activity to their long-term communicative goals. Jadi kalau misalnya kita menggunakan authentic language and real-world tasks, itu membuat murid itu dapat membuat koneksi antara pelajaran yang dia terima dengan kehidupan dia sehari-hari. Gitu. And then fourth is include pre, while, and post listening techniques. The first is a schematic activating process that helps the learner to prepare for listening. Kita bisa melakukan ini dengan aktivitas seperti checking vocabulary, ascertaining background knowledge, and gaining a hint of what the topic is, and exploring any contextual factors that might otherwise make the listening difficult. And the second stage is one that can easily be neglected. Listening is an active process, so make sure our students are actively doing something while they listen. Jadi kalau misalnya kita ada melakukan listening gitu, jangan cuma listening aja gitu, kita juga menyuruh murid kita untuk melakukan hal lain seperti taking notes or fill in the blank, like that. And then finally, what will students do after the presentation? We might plan any of the following, like vocabulary or grammar check. Jadi setelah melakukan listening, kita bisa ngecek vocab dan grammar mereka, and then checking the difficulties that students experience. And then next is carefully consider the form of listeners' responses. So there are guidelines for determining a listener comprehension, such as doing, the listener responds physically to a comment, choosing, the listener selects from alternatives such as pictures, objects, and text. Transferring, the listener draws a picture of what is heard. Answering, the listener answers questions about the message. Condensing, the listener outlines or takes notes on the lecture. Extending, the listener provides an ending to a story part. Duplicating, the listener translates the message into the native language or repeats it verbatim. Modeling, the listener order at a meal. For example, like setelah mendengar listening tentang memesan sesuatu, mereka nge-react gitu. Memesan sesuatu juga. And then conversing, the listener engages in a conversation that indicates appropriate processing of information. And then encourage the development of listening strategies. There are some strategies for listening comprehension. The first one is looking for keywords, and then looking for non-verbal cues to meaning, like non-verbal cues itu seperti body language and sejenisnya, and then predicting speaker's purpose by the context of the spoken discourse, and then associating information with one's existing cognitive structure, guessing at meanings, seeking clarification, listening for the general use, and various taking strategies for listening comprehension. And then finally, the last is include both bottom-up and top-down listening techniques. Bottom-up techniques typically focus on the bits and pieces of language, breaking language into component parts and giving them central focus. Top-down techniques are more concerned with the activation of schemata, with deriving meaning, with global understanding, and with the interpretation of the text. It is important for the students to operate from both directions because both can offer keys to determining the meaning of spoken discourse. Right, that's all from me. The next material will be explained by Dale.
Okay, thank you, Ani. The next we talking about listening technique from beginning to advance. So listening technique provide technique for each of three province type of activity, that is for beginning level listeners, for intermediate level listeners, and for advanced level learners. Next. Okay, for beginning level listeners, bottom-up exercise. Once, goal discriminating between intonation contour in sentence. Listen to a sequence of sentence pattern with either rising or falling intonation. And discriminating between phonemes. Listen to pair of words, some pair differ in their final consonant, and some pairs are the same. Circle the word same or difference, depending on what you hear. And selecting detail from the text or word recognition. Match a word that you hear with picture. Listen to a weather report. Look at list of words and circle of the word that you hear. And top-down exercise. Goal discriminating between emotional reaction. Listen to a sequence of utterances. Please check in the column that describe the emotional reaction that you hear. Interested, happy, surprised, or unhappy. And getting the gist of a sentence. Listen to a sentence describing a picture and select the correct picture. Goal, recognizing the topic. Listen to dialogue and decide where the conversation occurred. Circle the correct location among three multiple choice items. In interactive exercise, goal with a semantic network of word association. Listen to a word and associate all the related words that come to mind. Goal, recognize a familiar word and relate it to a category. Listen to word from a shopping list and match its word to the store that sell it. and then following direction. Listen to this description of road and trace it on a map. Please next. Next slide. Okay, the next is for intermediate level listeners. Bottom-up exercise, goal recognizing past speech from. Listen to a series sentence that contain unstressed function words. Circle of your choice among 3 words on the answer sheet. For example, up, and off. And the next, finding the stressed syllable. Listen to words of 2 or 3 syllable. Mark them for words stressed and predict the pronunciation of the unstressed syllable. And the next, goals recognizing words which reduce syllables. Read a list of polysyllabic words and predict which syllabic vowel will be dropped. Listen to the word in the past, speed, and confirm your prediction. And top-down exercise, goal analyze discourse structure to suggest effective listening strategies. Listen to Sikh radio commercial with attention to the use of music, repetition of keywords, and number of speakers. Talk about the effect these techniques have on the listeners. And the next, listen to identify the speaker or the topic. Listen to series of radio commercial. On your answer sheets, choose among 4 types of sponsor or product and identify the feature that goes with the commercial. And then, goal, listen to evaluate themes and motives. Listen to the series of radio commercial. On your answer sheet are your possible motives that the companies use to appeal to their customers. Circle all the motives that you feel its commercial promotes escape from reality, family security, snob appeal, and sex appeals. And then interactive exercise, goal discriminating between register of speed and tone of voice. Listen to a series of sentences. On your answer sheets, mark whether the sentence is polite or impolite. And the next, goal recognize missing grammar markers in colloquial speech. Listen to a series of short questions in which the auxiliary verb and subject have been deleted. Use grammatical knowledge to fill in the missing words. Or have you got some extra? And the next goal, use knowledge of reduce from to clarify the meaning of an utterance. Listen to short sentence containing a reduced form. Decide what the sentence means. On your answer sheet, choose the one of 3 alternatives that is the best paraphrase of the sentence you heard. Example, you hear you can be happy with that. You read, why can you be happy? That will make you happy. I don't think you are happy. Next slide. Okay, the next is for advanced level learners. Bottom-up exercise. Goals, use feature of sentence, stress, and volume to identify important information for note-taking. Listen to a number of sentences and extract the content words which are read with greater stress. Write the content word as note. And the next goal, become aware of sentence level features in lecture's text. Listen to the segment of a lecture while reading a transcript of the material. Notice the incomplete sentence, pause, and verbal fillers. And next, become aware of organizational cues in lecture text. Look at the lecture transcript and circle all the 2 words used to enumerate the main point. Then listen to the lecture segment and note organizational cues. And the next top-down exercises. Goal, use the introduction to the lecture to predict its focus and direction. Listen to the introductory section of a lecture, Then read a number of topics on your answer sheet and choose the topic the best express what the lecturer will discuss. And goal is the lecture transcript to predict the content of the next section. Read the section of lecture transcript, stop reading at a juncture point and predict what will come next. Then read on to confirm your prediction. Goal, find the main idea of the lecture segment. Listen to a section of lecture that describe a statistics trend. When you listen, look at three graph that show change over time and select the graph the best illustrate the lecture. And last, interactive exercise. Goal, use incoming detail to determine the accuracy of prediction about content. Listen to the introductory sentence to predict some of the main ideas you expect to hear in the lecture. Then listen to the lecture, not whether or not the instructor talk about point you predict. If he or he does not a detail about the point. Goal, determine the main idea of section of lecture by analysis the detail in that section. Listen to the session of the lecture and take note on the important details. Then relate the details to prompt an understanding of the main point that session. Choose from a list of possible controlling ideas. Goals, make inferences by identifying the ideas on the sentence level that lead to a valid statement. Listen to a statement and take notes on the important words. Indicate what further meaning can be inferred from the statement. Indicate the word in the original statement. Indicate the word in the original statement that serve to the inference. Maybe that's all from me. Next to Alif.
All right, thank you, Dale. I will explain the last material, assessing listening in the classroom. Every classroom lesson involves some form of assessment, whether it's in the form of informal, unplanned, and intuitive teacher processing and feedback, or in formal, prepare and score tests. Disambiguating the terms assessment and tests. Tests are a subset of assessment. Assessment is an ongoing pedagogical process that includes a number of evaluative acts on the part of the teacher. When a student responds to a question, offers a comment, or tries out a new word or structure, the teacher subconsciously makes an evaluation of the student's performance. Then assessing types of listening and micro and macro skills. Ada 4 garis besar tentang gambaran assessment possibilities in listening comprehension. The first one is intensive listening task, distinguishing phonemic pairs like grass or glass, distinguishing morphological pairs like miss or miss, and distinguishing stress patterns like I can or I can't. Then paraphrase recognition, I come from Taiwan, I am Taiwanese. And then repetition, repeats a word. Number 2 is responsive listening task. We can give a question like what time is it? And then we can give multiple choice response or open-ended response. Number 3 is selective listening task. Listening close, like fill in blanks, verbal information transfer, give multiple choice verbal response. Then picture code information transfer, like choose a picture. Then chart completion, fill in a grid. And then sentence repetition, repeat stimulus sentence. And the last one is extensive listening task. Dictation, we can give a listen usually 3 times and write a paragraph. And then dialogue, we can hear a dialogue and then give a multiple choice comprehension question or open-ended response. And then lecture, we can do take notes, summarize, list main points, and etc. And then interpretive tasks like hear a poem or interpret meaning. And then stories or narratives like tell a story. So that's all material from us. If you have a question, let us know in a Telegram group. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.